Blood. I'm a member of the Blood gang. You know what I'm saying? When I was in Atlanta, I was running hooping around. I've been gangbanging since I was 11 years old. I've been fighting my whole life. I've been knocking out since high school.
Soulja Boy, you ain't from the hood. No. Ain't no hood. Who the fuck? Who gave you permission, man? Dead home. Who the fuck? Stop it. Stop it.
You ain't been battle tested. You ain't battle tested, Soulja. To get to where them go talk how you talking, you got to die. You ain't known for being gangster. You can't get to where you at now. Get gangster when you came out Ewing.
So fake, cause I'm worth too many M's, you dig? Hey, what's going on, man? They say Soulja ain't from the hood. They say Soulja ain't from the hood.
Get off me though.
Oh, man, that's like me though. What's happening?
Soulja Boy might seem a bit over the top now, but he wasn't always like this. There was a time when he wasn't mad at the world or picking fights with anyone and everyone.
Right? The got bodied by Pusha T? Is hiding his kid from the world, but his world wanna hide from the kid? Right?
The world first met Soulja Boy when he dropped the viral hit Crank That in 2007, and overnight he became a superstar. He caught the eye of a lot of industry vets, and it looked like he was on track to becoming a global sensation.
Soulja's special. He's a young artist that's going to turn into something extremely different from what you thought he was in the beginning of his presentation, because he's growing up in front of you.
But that buzz didn't last too long. And before he knew it, his fame started to fade just as quickly as it had come. As the spotlight dimmed, Soulja Boy began chasing it in all the wrong ways. He started lying to get attention and adopted a completely different image, trying to come off as a hardcore gangster.
Finesse, flex, 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 flex. Hit the block and run up a check. Don't play, get at these.
This shift from the fun, dance-heavy tracks that got him famous to a darker, more persona didn't do him any favors. The turning point came when his house got invaded, and he allegedly MD'd the intruder. But of course, this story appeared to be more talk than reality. It wasn't long after that people started coming up to debunk his story, highlighting that it either didn't happen at all, or it happened but not the way he told it. I can't say I blame them though. Just listen to Soulja Boy tell the story here to judge for yourself.
Run to the front door. I hop out, I start shooting. Bow, 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 bow. Shot bow, shot his bow, 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 bow.
After that, Soulja Boy seemed to ditch his kid-friendly image entirely. He started rapping about guns, women, and trying to project a tough guy image to the world. But this gangster persona only made him look more like a clown to most people. And if the general public saw him as a joke, you can bet the real gangsters saw him as an even bigger one.
Soulja Boy, you ain't from the hood. No. Ain't no hood. Who the fuck? Who gave you permission, man? Dead home. Who the fuck? Stop it. Stop it.
The OGs in the streets don't respect him at all, and they've called him out on his nonsense repeatedly.
I want to remind Soulja Boy, you ain't got no mother ops.
Talking about why am I? Hell yeah, man, cause I'm a real live pyro. I put in work for shit. Couldn't be no mother blood for no money. Better go to the crib neighborhood and go beat somebody up or rob some pistol whip something.
One of the most embarrassing moments came when Soulja Boy went to their turf to prove he was one of them. He ended up humiliated and nearly got hurt.
People want to know how could Soulja Boy just pull up over here and walk around like that?
He can't.
He got a lot of.
He got on me.
He got pan. You feel me? Yeah. Well, right, pan OG. Certain right. He talking to the right OGs.
The only reason he walked away unscathed was because he had paid off the right people. Otherwise, it could have ended very badly for him. Claiming gang ties on social media is risky, but pulling up to the hood to back up those claims was downright dangerous. Things just kept getting worse for Soulja Boy. Nobody takes him seriously anymore, not his fans, and definitely not the streets he claims to be part of. But this story isn't over yet. Let's dive in deeper and see how Soulja Boy went from viral sensation to being viewed as a laughingstock by both the public and the streets. Back in 2004, Soulja Boy was just a humble kid with big dreams, determined to make them a reality. Fast forward a few years and he was a Grammy-nominated artist, cranking out hit after hit. He wasn't just making waves with his music, he was revolutionizing the industry by being the first rapper to truly harness the power of the internet to become famous. At the time, everyone loved Soulja Boy. But as the years went by, his meteoric rise started to wane. You could tell he didn't really know how to handle the decline. Soulja Boy grew bitter and began demanding credit for everything. He claimed to be the first rapper to do just about anything and everything.
I started this internet. I started the wave. I'm the reason why these new artists get signed. I'm the reason why it's a Lil Pump. I discovered Chief Keef.
While it was funny at times, there was a kernel of truth to his boasts. He was actually one of the first rappers on YouTube and the first to get his hands on an iPhone. More importantly, he was among the first artists to upload his music to the internet at a time when everyone else was still pushing CDs. Despite how he might come off now, let's be honest, sometimes incredibly dumb. Back then, he was ahead of his time and pretty smart for his age. He leveraged platforms like YouTube and MySpace, posting vlogs, challenges, and dance videos to promote his music.
Really transferred all of my fans over to MySpace/YouTube, so I was really just capitalizing off of everything as far as the YouTube videos and the MySpace music and the photos.
In 2007, at just 17 years old, he released Crank That, which remains his biggest hit to this day.
Soulja Boy, I'm in it. Why me crank it? Why me roll? Why me crank that Soulja Boy?
Everyone was doing the Crank That dance. Just like that, Soulja Boy became the first ever internet rap star. He understood and used the internet to his advantage before anyone else, landing spots on popular shows like TRL and 106 in Park, which were huge for hip-hop at the time. Around this time, Soulja Boy got into his first beef with an older rapper named Ice-T, who claimed Crank That was K-ing hip-hop.
I apologize, Soulja Boy, for telling you to eat it. That was just in anger. But as far as your music goes, it's garbage.
Soulja clapped back in classic Soulja Boy fashion. But despite this feud, he stayed relatively positive and happy. His music was free from and the usual themes of guns and girls that dominate the genre. But then, everything changed on July 15th, 2008. That day marked a turning point for Soulja Boy. 4 masked men broke into his home, and he had to defend himself.
One run to the front door. I hop out, I start shooting. Bow, 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 bow. Shot the bow, shot his ass. Bow, bow, bow.
The incident left a lasting impact on him. After allegedly K-wording one of the intruders, he couldn't maintain his kid-friendly image anymore. His whole perspective on life shifted, and so did his music. Soulja Boy started showing the world who he really was, and for a while, it actually worked out. He dropped even more hits like Kiss Me Through the Phone, Turn My Swag On, and Pretty Boy Swag. From 2007 to 2010, Soulja Boy was on top of the music industry.
Baby, you know that I miss you. I wanna get with you.
But just as quickly as the industry lifts you up, it can tear you right back down. When your music isn't hitting the same numbers and you're not as popular, the industry spits you out like a piece of stale gum. That's exactly what happened to Soulja Boy.
Y'all want to listen to me, bro. Y'all ignore me, bro. Y'all laughed at me, bro, and on me, bro, like I was nothing.
What you might not know is that his career was almost destined to falter from the start. Back in 2008, when Soulja Boy was rising to fame, having a cool ringtone was the thing. Everyone was turning their favorite rap songs into ringtones, and Soulja Boy capitalized on this trend. This was a huge reason for his initial success. At one point, everybody wanted a Soulja Boy ringtone. But as time went on, ringtones fell out of fashion, and it made him look like a relic of a bygone era. People started to see him as one of those corny old-school rappers who was only good at being first to things. Respect for his music dwindled, even among his peers. By 2011, listening to Soulja Boy became a joke. When he dropped his third studio album, it only sold 17,000 copies in its first week. Soulja Boy even considered quitting rap. In 2011, his new music just couldn't compete with heavyweights like Lil Wayne, Drake, and Kanye. Despite being smart enough to use the internet to launch his career, he couldn't keep it alive when more talented artists entered the scene. His mental health clearly took a hit. No longer being the top dog made him bitter. Instead of focusing on improving his music and honing his craft, Soulja Boy decided to reinvent his public image. He shifted from making catchy dance songs to rapping about guns, women, and He wanted the world to see him as tough, and more importantly, he craved respect from his peers. Soulja Boy also started beefing with anyone and everyone. Take the Migos, for instance. The song Versace was their big break, but not many people know that the beat for Versace was originally Soulja Boy's.
Versace, Medusa head on me like I'm Illuminati. I know that you like it. Versace, my wrist is so sloppy.
He gave it to the Migos because he thought it suited them better. Before they blew up, Soulja Boy and the Migos collaborated on several tracks and were good friends. But if there's one thing Soulja Boy is good at, it's ruining relationships. In 2016, he dissed Lil Yachty, an up-and-coming artist who was also friends with the Migos.
Ugly as f***, your hair look like Twizzlers, boy. I snatched the f***ing bees out your motherfucking head, you little
Naturally, the Migos cut ties with Soulja Boy, and you can imagine how he took that. He went on a 10-minute rant about Quavo and even tried calling him.
Pick up the phone, Quavo. Lame.
Although it was hilarious, it showed that Soulja Boy only thought about the short-term consequences. His career was declining, and the Migos were on the rise. It would have been in his best interest to stay on good terms with them. However, Soulja Boy didn't care about that. He destroyed their relationship by making a full diss track on them.
Quavo, Migos, pull on your block with the Draco. Quavo, Migos.
Unfortunately for him, no one took it seriously. All his threats and disses were seen as comedy. This was frustrating for Soulja Boy because all he wanted was respect, and he wasn't getting it. Instead of reflecting on his actions, he doubled down on his tough guy persona. By the end of 2016, the dance songs were gone, and Soulja Boy was portraying himself as a full-blown gangster. Soulja Boy went out of his way to prove to everyone how tough he was, but it backfired every single time.
Hey, what's going on? Yeah, man. Nah, you don't hate it. Hey.
They say Soulja ain't from the hood.
Get off me, though. Get off me, though.
What's happening, bro? What you want to do? Nah.
He thought retelling the story of the 2008 home invasion would work in his favor, but it didn't. On December 28, 2016, during an interview with DJ Vlad, Soulja Boy recounted how he allegedly K-worded someone who broke into his house.
One nigga run to the front door. I hop out, I start shooting. Bow, 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 bow. Shot the nigga. Bow, shot his ass. Bow, 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 bow.
You can imagine he expected some sympathy or praise for being such a real guy, but that wasn't the case at all. Once again, no one took him seriously. People turned his home invasion story into a meme, and all his celebrity friends joined in, making fun of him with the Soulja Boy challenge.
Came through the door, shot. Came back downstairs, shot again.
So they obviously didn't believe his story at all. DJ Vlad even interviewed the people who broke into his house. For Soulja Boy, this wasn't a joke. He hated the Soulja Boy challenge. It actually forced him to admit that the home invasion was the reason he became so and changed his music style. But even after this, Soulja kept giving the trolls what they wanted. He continued being the internet's punching bag because he only thought about the short-term effects of his actions. Like everyone else, Soulja Boy liked to make quick money, but the way he went about it made him look horrible. He endorsed things like the Soulja Boy console, the Soulja phone, and the Soulja Boy watch. These business ventures ultimately made him look like a complete fool because they were obvious scams.
This thing is trash, just like Soulja Boy's trash, and I'm never going to use it again.
Obviously don't buy one of these. Don't even buy this for $80.
Each of his Soulja creations was a direct copy of an existing product. He almost got sued by Nintendo for not licensing the thousands of games he put on his Soulja Boy console. By the end of 2018, due to his failed business ventures, Soulja decided it was time to return to the music industry. However, he had no plans to actually make good music. He realized that people only paid attention to him when he was either beefing with someone or upset and screaming about something, so he decided to do both. Soulja Boy started a heavily one-sided beef with Drake, accusing him of stealing his song. This all started because Drake tried to pay homage to Soulja Boy in one of his earlier songs from 2010 named Miss Me.
Hey, what's really going on? Drizzy back up in this thing, I'm ready. What's happening?
Drake's line sounded identical to one from Soulja Boy's song.
Hey, what's really going on? Soulja Boy up in this thing, I'm ready. What's happening?
But at the time, Soulja didn't say anything because he knew it wasn't like that. But when he needed to claw back to relevance, he sparked a frivolous beef.
That's my bar. He copied my whole flow.
That gets me through the phone.
He copied my whole flow. Word bar for bar. Don't make Drake.
But like everyone else, Drake didn't respond. No one really responds to Soulja Boy because no one takes him seriously, and even he knew that. What Soulja Boy failed to realize was that in the music industry, it's all about relationships. You need to be liked by music executives, your peers, and most importantly, your fans. However, Soulja Boy consistently burned bridges and ruined relationships with people to regain relevance. It became an ongoing cycle. Soulja Boy would fall off and become irrelevant, then beef with someone to become relevant again. But this never included new music, and each time he came back, he only became more of a joke. He destroyed relationships and even lost the trust of his fans. Another thing Soulja Boy is infamous for is his wild lies. Back in 2011, a member of his management team, Shay Storm, talked to TMZ and claimed that Soulja had bought himself a $55 million G5 jet to celebrate his 21st birthday. Now, buying a private jet is wild for anyone, but back then, the G5 only cost $35 million. Apparently, that wasn't good enough for Soulja, because he allegedly spent another $20 million on custom Italian leather seats, 4 different bars, tiled floors, and Brazilian cabinets. When asked about it, Soulja told TMZ, "Hell yeah, I bought it," but it didn't take long for the truth to come out. Later that week, a spokesperson for Soulja Boy admitted that the rumors about him buying a jet weren't true. Some people tried to point out that it wasn't really a rumor since Soulja was the one spreading it about himself, but he just brushed it off and moved on to thinking about his next lie. Capping about a $55 million jet is wild enough, but then Soulja took it even further when he started telling people he secured a bag worth $400 million. In May 2016, Soulja hopped on Twitter and said, $400 million deal confirmed. I still think they lowballed me though. I was thinking 2 or 3 billion. At first, everyone was calling cap on him for the tweet, but then news broke that he actually had a deal with the World Poker Fund Holdings, WPFH. The WPFH was launching an in-flight gaming and gambling service, and they linked up with Soulja to help promote it. Their publicist, Matthew Burrs, said that using influencers was key for the company, and that Soulja Boy represents the best of the best, and they were already seeing the impact from his presence. Out of nowhere, it looked like Soulja had gone from a meme rapper to a legit businessman. The only other dudes in the game with deals like that were legends like Jay-Z, Dr. Dre, and 50 Cent. Even his haters had to give Soulja props for almost making $500 million. But in the end, it turns out he lied to everyone again. Just a few weeks after he flexed the deal, Burrs put out an article describing how crazy the lie was. They reported that WPFH only had a market cap of around $52 million, and they had actually lost $400K the year before. Soulja claimed that a company that was losing money and only worth $52 million was going to pay him $400 million somehow. Everyone started clowning Soulja and WPFH, so their publicist Matthew Burrs had to step in and narrow down the situation. In an interview, he explained that Soulja really kind of jumped the gun with that tweet and that the deal was capped at $400 million, but that was based on a forward-thinking valuation of the company. So basically, Soulja could have earned a maximum of $400 million if the company started raking in billions. Plus, Soulja didn't even get the money in cash. Instead, the company gave him stocks that were worth around $2.5 million. Charlemagne called him out on The Breakfast Club and asked him about the deal. Soulja tried to say it was all legit and that people could Google it. But when Charlemagne brought up that the company even said the deal was only worth a couple of mil, Soulja just laughed it off and said, millions is millions.
The company said it turned out that it was just shares that were valued at $2.5 million.
Well, millions is millions, now, baby.
No, Soulja. Millions is not millions.
Making a couple million is great, but Soulja got clowned like crazy for lying about the deal. Instead of getting on his grind and trying to make bigger deals, he just came up with another lie a few months later. In November 2016, Soulja posted a video bragging about his new $6 million penthouse in Hollywood. He did a walkthrough, flexing the place like he was on MTV Cribs. But it didn't take long for the truth about the situation to come out. It turns out that Soulja was just renting the spot on Airbnb, and the penthouse was only listed for $3.2 million. TMZ reported that he rented it for a year, but the owners were still looking for someone to buy it. But like typical Soulja, clapped back at TMZ with another video, brushing off the whole situation.
Oh, he renting the crib. Oh, it's Airbnb. I put it on Airbnb so I can rent it when I go on the road and make extra money. Why y'all so mad? Y'all so mad? Y'all got a new crib?
Soulja didn't face any real consequences for capping about the penthouse, but his next lie almost got him K-worded. In 2017, Soulja started beefing with Chris Brown over Brown's ex, Karachi Tran. They started sending shots back and forth, and that's when Soulja brought up his street ties. Soulja was born in Chicago, grew up in Atlanta, then moved to Mississippi with his dad when he was 14. That's why everyone was shocked when he started claiming to be affiliated with the Fruittown Piru Bloods in Compton.
Blood, I remember the Blood gang, you know what I'm saying? When I was in Atlanta, I was running hoop around. I've been gangbanging since I was 11 years old. I've been fighting my whole life. I've been knocking
out since high school.
Soulja tried to prove his street ties by pulling up in Fruittown territory, but the situation didn't work out like he planned. Soulja walked up to a dude in the street and tried to put his arm around him, but the dude obviously wasn't cool with it and pushed Soulja off him. They squared up and looked like they were about to throw hands. But luckily for Soulja Boy, the situation calmed down, and he left without getting hurt.
Hey, what's going on, man? Young 80, nigga. They say Soulja ain't from the hood. Hey, they say Soulja ain't from the hood. Get off me, though. Oh, man, that's like me, though. What's happening?
Claiming gang ties on social media is one thing, but Soulja could have ended up in a real situation by pulling up to the hood like that. Luckily, it seems like he realized how dumb it was, so after that, he went back to lying about business deals instead. Soulja Boy was clowned like crazy when he tried to get into the video game industry and release some knockoff consoles in 2018 and 2019. Even though everyone knew he didn't have any business in the gaming industry, Soulja hopped on social media in 2021 and claimed that he was the new owner of Atari, and he was selling his own gaming company for $140 million.
We're gonna take Atari to the next level. Everybody go follow at Atari. I am now the owner of Atari. What I did with the Soulja Boy game console, you know what I'm saying? I blew Soulja Boy game up. We about to sell the company for like, was it 100? I think I'm gonna get 140 million.
The official Atari Twitter account exposed Soulja for lying and said, "We know that CEO of Atari is a dream job, but that honor belongs to Wade Rosen." And that's when Soulja posted a massive rant and flashed a contract on camera, wanting everyone to believe that he somehow became the owner of Atari. But it turns out that his deal with them was that they would pay him in their Atari tokens, cryptocurrency, and a promotional deal. The Atari tokens weren't the only issue Soulja had with cryptocurrency. Back in March, the Securities and Exchange Commission charged him with illegally promoting cryptocurrencies without telling people that he was paid for the promo. Jake Paul and Lindsay Lohan got hit with the same charges, and all of them had to pay $400K in fines. Lying is nothing new for Soulja, but now he's out here sending death threats to random civilians too. A viral video went around where people on the street were asked if they'd rather get $250 in food stamps or have dinner with Soulja Boy. Everyone in the video said they'd take the food stamps, and the whole thing set Soulja off. He posted another rant after it went viral, but then he actually decided to apologize for his reaction. He went live and apologized to his fans in New Jersey for overreacting, but then someone said he was banned from the state, and that's when Soulja started making threats.
See, look, I'm trying to be nice. He talking about you banned from New Jersey. Hey, New Jersey, we'll come and blow that shit. What I'm saying, man? New Jersey, we'll come blow that shit up. We'll come shoot that shit up. Y'all don't got shit. Y'all broke.
Sending death threats is usually a serious situation. But since Soulja has lied about everything else, nobody's taking him seriously on this either. He's had a wild career since he blew up almost 2 decades ago, but most of that has been him making headlines for all the wrong reasons. There's no telling what kind of story he'll start telling next, but it's clear that all the lying is the only thing keeping him relevant these days. It's sad to say this, but the man that once pioneered the whole music industry and had the whole world wearing Soulja Boy glasses is now looked at as a big old troll.